All right, hello yogis, welcome. This is going to be a 45-minute deep stretch class. And deep stretch just means that we'll be kind of moving at a slower pace, working with the hamstrings, the hips, and the upper back, and really a lot of the spine. Tonight's flow, we would benefit from having a couple of blocks. If you don't have blocks at home, use hard-covered books or just something that'll give you a lift away from the floor, some kind of elevation with a sturdy and stable base. And then if you have a strap at home, we do need to have a strap handy. If you don't have a strap at home, belts, any kind, work really, really nicely. Or if you have a towel handy, like a kitchen towel that's a little bit longer, just something where you can find length. We will be using it a little bit towards the end of class. Tonight's focus is kind of an total body workout. We'll get into everything, so we should be feeling nice and juicy from head to toe once we finish. We're going to begin in an easy seat. So as you head over to your mat, go ahead and find an easy seat that may be cross-legged for you, that may be on your shins. You could support yourself with something like a blanket I've got here. I'm going to slide underneath of the hips, helping me to elevate my hips so that my knees softly lower down towards the earth. And then let your arms just land wherever they land. You could place your palms up towards the ceiling to receive energy today, or palms down to give energy, depending on what you need. And then once you find this seat, take a moment to ground down through the sits bones, some time to kind of connect body parts to the earth and notice what those points, contact points are. And then once you feel that grounding, rooting, lift up and away from your hip bones, lengthen out the back of your neck, reach out through the crown of your head. Take your gaze either softly down to the floor or close your eyes completely. Right away, let's take a nice deep breath in together. Fill up through your belly, your ribs, and chest. As you exhale, open up your mouth and release. Inhale one more time like that. Breathe in through your nose and fill up belly, ribs, and chest. And exhale, open mouth, cleanse and release. Seal your lips and just let the breath be natural. Let your inhales and exhales travel in at a natural pace without manipulating or controlling anything just yet. Just noticing how our breath is approaching in and how it's exiting out. And using these first couple of moments to just acknowledge where we're at in space. The energy that we show up on our mat with isn't always flowers and butterflies, good feelings. In fact, the idea is that we come here as a way to work through things or towards something. It's a way for us to physically, energetically, and mentally, spiritually let go. So today it's Friday. I'm sure you had a whirlwind of a week. If there's something that you're holding on to that's causing tension or negative feelings in your life, take a moment to think about what that is. I know for me this week, I had a lot of anxiety about just the unknown, having that sense of feeling like there's nothing that I can control. And so instead, I wanted to channel that energy towards how I can use that energy and kind of fix it or work my way through it towards something else positive through movement. Movement does such wonderful things for our body, our mind, and our spirit. And each and every day we show up on our mat, we show up with a willingness to dive deeper into those feelings. Instead of running away from them, we start to explore what they are and become more aware of how we can work through them, how we can use the breath to guide ease into the body, to guide ease into the mind. Instead of thinking about those two as separate beings, begin to notice the relationship and how they really truly are one. With that in mind, bring your hands together at your heart center. Press your palms towards one another. Fan your fingers really wide so your elbows are even reaching to the east and west sides of the room. Together, let's take a deep breath in through the nose. Fill up your belly, your ribs, your chest. Exhale back out through your nose, chest, ribs, and belly. Breathe in through the nose, fill up. Breathe out through the nose until you find empty. And let your hands relax down on top of your thighs. Let your eyes flutter open and just take on light, a moment here to see what you see in front of you. And then on your inhale, stretch your arms to the sky. Big breath in, look up towards your thumbs. Right away, exhale, twist over to your right. Placing your left hand on top of your right knee. Inhale, sit up taller. And exhale, twisting deeper, maybe gazing over the shoulder. Inhale, stretch your arms back up through center. Let your arms come down by your sides and switch out your feet. So if you're cross-legged, opposite foot in front, inhale, reach the arms up, look up at your thumbs, and exhale, twist over to your left. Use your back hand to help you sit up taller through the spine. Use your front hand to help you pull yourself deeper into the twist. Inhale, release, and come back up, arms overhead. And exhale, arms down by your sides. Lean back so that you can bring the soles of your feet together for butterfly legs. Grab a hold of your ankles and sit up nice and tall. Find an erect spine. Slide your shoulder heads onto your back body. And just take a moment to kind of reach the crown of the head towards the ceiling, your knees down towards the floor. Feeling the stretch on top of the thighs as well as the inner groins. And for these final 3 breaths, round through your spine and let your chin tuck towards your chest. Inhaling and exhaling. Very passive here as we release. Back of the neck, the head. Open up your mouth and draw your jaw in one direction. And then the other. Releasing any tension there. We usually hold on to quite a bit of tension in the jaw without even knowing. So take the time to release. On your next inhale, begin to slowly lift back up, a nice tall spine. Gather your knees together and then shift your hips to one side, your feet to the other. Slide your support to the side if you are using it. And travel around into a tabletop position, coming onto all fours. Stack your shoulders over your wrists, your hips over your knees. And on an inhale, hammock your belly down towards the floor. Take your gaze forward or up. Exhale, round through your spine. Look back at your thighs. Some cat-cows here to open up the spine. Move slow or fast through these, up to you. Finding flexion and extension. And it's a nice space for us, kind of a movement meditation for us to really start linking the breath and movement together. So use the full length of your inhales to open up your heart space. The full length of your exhales to round dome through your back. And one more time here as we inhale, slide the shoulder blades together. Exhale, separate the shoulder blades apart. Come back to a neutral spine. Walk your palms a palm print forward. Tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Soften your knees. Reach your heart back towards your thighs. Press away from the heels of your palms and make sure you're pressing into all 10 fingers, finger pads included. Feel the length of each of your fingers. That webbing in between is pressing into the mat. Let your head be kind of heavy in between the arms. Shake it out, yes and no. Wrap your triceps down and add a micro bend into your knees so that you're concentrating on lengthening the tailbone back, the spine longer, versus lengthen your hamstrings. On an inhale, lift your gaze, look forward, come up onto your tiptoes. As you exhale, tiptoe your feet, tiny little steps up to the top of your mat. Feet land about hip-width distance apart. Bend your knees generously so your belly lays on top of your thighs, and then grab a hold of opposite elbows. Hang your head heavy for ragdoll pose. And again, you can find movement or stillness. I like to lengthen the legs and then bend the knees a few times, just getting used to that opening in the hamstrings. If you like to sway side to side, that's welcome. Or shake out your head again, yes and no. If you tend to hold on to a lot of tension in your neck or your shoulders, here's a wonderful opportunity for you to release. And tuck your chin to your chest. Make sure your gaze is back to your shins. Weight is forward into the ball mounds of your feet. Let go of your grip. Go ahead and bring your hands down to the mat for a moment, and then interlace your hands behind your head, so right at the base of the skull there, and then just let your elbows hang heavy. Try to get a stretch to the back of the neck here. And releasing the hands all the way down to the mat. Bring your big toes together to touch. Leave a sliver of light in between your heels. And with a soft bend in the knees, begin to roll up the spine. Come up to stand. Let your arms stretch down towards the floor. Spread your fingers for Tadasana. Gazing forward out at the horizon. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Squeeze your inner thighs together if they touch. Lengthen your tailbone down and lift up through the crown of your head. Breathe in, stretch your arms overhead, look up. As you exhale, swan dive forward, hinge at your hip creases with a flat back. Come all the way down to fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway, slide your hands up your legs, knees, shins, or thighs, wherever you need to travel in order to get your head in line with your shoulders, in line with your hips. As you exhale, bring your hands back to the earth. Step back into plank pose. Take a breath in, shift forward. As you breathe out with control, lower all the way down to your belly. You can always drop the knees to modify. Untuck your toes when you get there. And take your hands wider than your mat. Teepee tent your palms. For a wide-armed cobra, inhale, lift your head, lift your chest. And now exhale, trickle that all the way back down to the mat. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Keep your knees on the mat. Press up into tabletop position. Tuck your toes. Send your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Soften your knees. Make sure you're not hyperextending through the shoulders and pressing to the earth too much. You want to make sure that your biceps frame your ears. As you inhale, lift up onto your toes. Look forward, bend your knees. Exhale, take 2 big steps up to the top of your mat. With an inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bow and fold. Inhale, stretch your arms to the sky. Look up. As you exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold again, right back down. Breathe in and lengthen halfway. As you exhale, plant your palms, step your right foot back into lunge, pause. Step your left foot back into down dog. Inhale, lift onto the toes, look forward, bend your knees. Walk, step, or hop, feet to the top. Lengthen, flat back, inhale. Fold, bend the knees, exhale. Inhale, stretch the arms all the way out and up, rise to stand. Exhale, hands seal to the heart. One more round. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, hinge and swan dive forward. Inhale, lift halfway, shoulders squeeze together. Exhale, plant the palms. This time your left foot steps back, pause. Right foot steps back to meet it, downward facing dog, lifting the hips. Inhale, rise onto your toes, look forward, bend your knees. Exhale, travel to the top. Inhale for length. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch the arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to the heart. Back to downward facing dog. As we inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Take an inhale, lengthen halfway. This time, plant the palms, step both feet back at once, right into your downward facing dog. Feet together at the back of your mat. With your inhale, stretch your right leg up and back, three-legged dog. Bend your knee, peel your hip open so that right hip is stacking on top of the left. Maybe roll out through your ankle, one direction and then the other. You might even circle the knee. Big circles to open up. And now send your hip back to square. Right leg reaches back behind us. Three-legged dog again. As you exhale, step the foot to the outside of your right hand and lower your left knee down. Stay lifted onto the palms or bring a block underneath of your palms for elevation. Lift up through your crown to find length in the spine. Stay here today, or for more, come down onto forearms, whether that be to a block or to the earth. Variations here, you can continue to just be as you are. You could let your right knee slack out a little bit to the right. If you would more heat, hug the right knee into the shoulder, tuck the back toes and lift the knee. Somewhere we're getting into the right hip crease. And choose again to either stay here or option to come up onto your left palm. Bring a block underneath of the palm. And as you press the right knee away, stay here, reach the right arm back, or you might have the space to bend into the back knee and hold the heel closer to your glute. So I kind of like to shift the torso forward once again, bringing the weight, getting a nice big stretch to the left hip flexor as well as the quad. Go ahead and release the foot if you have a hold of it. Bring the hands back underneath for support. Heel toe your right foot back in line with your hip and frame the foot. Tuck the back toes under, lift the knee. Send the right leg up and back, release through the hip flexor. And then set the foot down next to the left and pedal out your knees here, bending into one knee, lower the opposite heel. And do that a couple of times, alternating between sides. Feet together again at the back of your mat. With an inhale, stretch your left leg to the sky. Bend your knee, peel open through your hips, stack your left hip on top of your right. Roll out your ankle. Maybe take big circles with the knee in one direction and then the other. Even it out. And then let's meet back into a three-legged dog. Left hip squares to the earth. Point your toes down as well. Looking forward, step your left foot to the outside of your left hand and lower your right knee down to the earth. Your choice is to stay lifted onto the palms if you're feeling enough sensation here. Otherwise, bring a block under your palms, lift away. Maybe you need that elevation. Gives me a little bit more length to squeeze the shoulder blades together here. Or start to come down a little bit lower if you like a little more. Come onto forearms, whether that be to a block or the earth. And then variations here, letting that left knee slack out to the side for a juicier opening in the hip. Or for more heat, you can always curl the back toes and lift that back knee off the earth. Stay soft through your face muscles, your jaw. Oscillate the gaze left and right if you're feeling any tension in the neck. And then option to stay here or come back onto the palms. Make sure the left sole of the foot is grounded. Right hand comes to a block. And as we start to gently press the left knee out to the left, this is step one. You could stay here. You could reach your left arm back for an opening across the chest, or bend into the right knee, grab a hold of the foot. And for a quad stretch instead of the back bend today, pull your back right heel closer to the right glute. You could bend into the right elbow, turn your torso and your gaze back to the front of your mat, and really pour the torso weight forward, giving you as much or as little of a stretch as you want in that right hip flexor and quad. Release the foot when you're ready. Bring your hands back under your shoulders. Set your block to the side. Heel toe your left foot back in line with your hip and frame the foot. Tuck the right toes under, lift the knee, and send your left leg up and back, three-legged dog. Set your foot down for downward facing dog. Pedal out again through the knees a couple of times here, shifting the weight side to side. On an inhale, lift up onto your tiptoes. Exhale, lower down to your knees. Find a tabletop position, so make sure that your hips are over knees, wrists are under shoulders, and keeping hips right above your knees. No moving of the hips or the back body here. Stretch your arms forward. So just like your cat or dog does when they stretch out long on the floor in front of you here, bring your forehead down to the earth. Or you could soften into your elbows if this is too much on the shoulders, and just let yourself kind of melt with the elbows here, but keep your hips over the knees. If you've got a little bit more space, you may be bringing your chin forward if your chest naturally touches the earth. So this is a really big back bend. It's also a big shoulder opener. Really great for us to do here if we are sitting quite a bit during the day, if you're on your phone a lot, especially during this extra time that we have at home. Any rounding of the shoulders, we breathe into that space here. Opening up the pectoral muscles, space underneath of the armpits. Breathe in and out. Keep pulling the belly button to the spine, protecting your low back. When you're ready, go ahead and walk your hands in and under, back underneath of your shoulders to find your tabletop position. And then go ahead and walk your palms forward a bit. Lean your hips forward and lower safely down to your belly. Untuck your toes when you get there. Bring your right forearm out in front and prop yourself up. Stretch your left arm back. Bend into the knee and grab a hold of the foot. If you can't reach the foot, loop the strap around your foot so that you can find a little bit of extra length in the arm there. Good. And if you have the strap loop, you could also take the strap, get that hooked around there. If you've got enough length on it, just come around the shoulder, and then that way you don't have to do quite as much work there. But a nice little half quad stretch here. You could also take your right arm straight and press into the palm and see if you're getting a little bit more of a pull there. You might kick the foot back and get a different opening through the quad. Go ahead and lower the right elbow down if it lifted. Release your foot if you had a hold of it. Strap over to the side there. Lengthen the back leg long. Stretch your left arm out. Make sure your wrist is in line with your shoulder. Bring your left cheek to the mat. Bring your right hand under your elbow, and as you bend into your right knee, roll over onto your left side for cat's pulling its tail pose, stretching open the shoulder. You could stay here. You could wrap your right arm around your back body. You could work for interlacing the hands for a chest expansion. Or if you want even more still, I like to bring this right hand around for support. Bend into your left knee and try to send both knees over to the right. Bringing both soles of your feet to the mat. And now lengthen both legs long. Come back through center, bringing your chin to the earth. And when you're ready, go ahead and bring your arms out to a big Texas T. You'll bring your left forearm out in front of you. Press up onto the forearm. Walk it back as far as you need. Great place to grab a strap if you needed it last time. Bend into the right knee. Reach the right hand back. You're either grabbing the foot with your hand, pulling the heel closer, or maybe taking that strap up and around your shoulder like a backpack strap. Left forearm either stays on the earth or take the left hand out in front and see if you can press up onto the palm. You might be able to kick back through the right leg, get a different sensation there for the quad, or just keep pulling the heel closer towards the glute if you're getting a nice stretch there. Belly button pulls away from the floor. Take an inhale. And then exhale, release out of your strap there. Bring the left elbow down if it wasn't already. Stretch your right arm out to the right so your wrist is in line with your shoulder. Bring your right cheek to the mat. Lengthen both legs long. Bring your left hand out in front of you. Bend into your left knee and roll to the right, setting the foot behind you. And then either staying here, you could reach your left arm around for a half bind or a chest expansion. Try interlacing the hands together. Stay where your practice allows, but if you do want more, you can bring your front hand out in front or leave it behind. Bend your bottom knee, bring the soles of the feet to the mat, and then try to dip your knees over to the left. Stay relaxed through your head and neck. Nice big shoulder stretch, pectoral opener. Lengthen both legs long. Come back onto your belly, bring your chin to the earth. Good. And then bring your hands under your shoulders. Press up and back into child's pose. Knees come wide, toe pads together to touch. Arms stretch out and forehead rests onto the earth. Or you can make a pillow with fists or a block. If that length from your tailbone to your forehead is too much on the spine. Take your next breath in and out here. And then walk your hands in, come up into a seat. Good. Bring your knees together, sit your hips to one side, and stretch your legs out in front of you. You're going to scoot to the top of your mat, allowing the soles of the feet to stay on the mat. And with bent knees, just bring your hands behind your back and let your knees window wiper from side to side. And then from here, we're going to lower down onto our forearms, continuing to window wiper those knees side to side. And then come back through center, just the knees pointed up towards the ceiling. Lower, let your chest kind of cave in, chin to chest. And now press into the forearms and lift up through your heart, your chest. You might take the gaze up or even back. One more time like that. Lower, round in. And then inhale, press up, lift up through their heart, lift up through your chest. Good. And then go ahead and lower all the way down onto your back. But before we do that, if you have your strap handy, go ahead and grab it. And then lower all the way down onto your back. Good. Lengthening both legs long. Pull your right knee into your chest and interlace your hands around your shin. Draw your right knee out to the right for wind removing pose. Flex through both feet. Take an inhale. Exhale, pull your right knee closer towards your right armpit. So as we do this, we're trying to find compression in the front of your right hip. And you'll feel that there. If it's too much, back off a little bit. But make sure your legs are active. So both feet are flexing, toes curling up towards the kneecap. And then missing the belly, the ribs, as we slide the knee out to the right and feel that compression. Use another inhale for length. Stay relaxed through your shoulders and exhale, pull the knee closer. Now go ahead and relax. Let go of the grip there a little bit. Find your strap if you have a hold of it. And here's a great place to use the strap. Loop it around your right foot and then extend your right leg to the sky. Take your straps and kind of loop them around until you're able to find that length that works for you. You don't want to be lifting your shoulders off of the mat. So if your shoulder blades are coming off, let your strap be longer so they can relax. Flex through your foot. If this is too intense, you can modify by bending into that left knee and bringing the sole of the foot to the sky. And if you want a little bit more, keep a soft micro bend in the knee as you guide the right thigh closer to your chest. Inhaling here and exhaling. Pull the thigh a little closer. If you have the strap, go ahead and bring your strap loops together, or straps together here. Grab the strap just with your right hand, and then take the right leg out to the right. A way to modify this, if it's too much, is to bend your knee, and you can actually take the hand right to the knee and open it out. To find a little bit more length, you can also reach your left leg long here as well. So instead of letting the hip and the heel just kind of fall to the side, make sure that your hip points are still square. So your left hip point should be pointed up towards the ceiling. And then right hip point is still square, even though we're finding this external rotation in the hip and the leg. Take another big breath in. Stay for the exhale out. Let's stay here for 2 more cycles of breath. Go ahead and bring the right leg back up to center, bend the knee. Take your foot out of the strap and set your strap to the left side. We'll use it here in a moment. Hug both knees into your chest. Keep a hold of your left knee this time and lengthen your right long. Interlace your fingers around your left shin. Take a breath in, fill up. And as you exhale, pull your left knee out to the left here. So try to miss your belly, your ribs, head over towards your left armpit. Flex through both feet. Take an inhale. Exhale, pull. Feel the compression in the front of your left hip here. You can roll out your left ankle if you like. But make sure that that right leg stays nice and strong. Kneecap lifts onto the quad. We're energizing through the muscles there. Take one more breath here. Wind removing pose. This is really great for the digestive system. We get to massage things here and get things moving. And any flexion that you're doing, quite of sitting during the day, that's flexion in the hip. So we're kind of squeezing that energy out. And then go ahead and release your grip. Grab a hold of your strap if you have one. If you don't, that's all right. You're extending with the strap around the arch of the foot or the ball of the foot up to the sky. Otherwise, hands can interlace behind the thigh if you don't have a strap. If you do have a strap, make sure that the length of your strap is somewhere where you can find a stretch in the hamstring, but stay relaxed through your shoulders. Add a soft micro bend into your left knee. Breathe in, and then exhale, invite the thigh closer to your chest. Take 2 more breaths like that. And last inhale, try to reach through your left heel. Exhale, thigh closer to the chest. Good. Release, bring the straps together and grab it just with your left palm now. Take your right hand and lay it on top of the right hip. Start with a bent knee. And then start to send your left leg out to the left, reclining hand to big toe pose B. And again, instead of just letting the leg fall and letting this right sits bone come off of the earth, energize through your heel. Reach through the heel. If you want a little extra, right leg goes long. And again, you can place that right hand and hold it there so that your hip bone or sits bones doesn't roll up off of the mat. If it does, we've come too far. And we want to either modify by bending the knee and holding on to the knee, or just lifting the left leg up a little higher so that we can bring the butt cheeks back down to the earth. Take an inhale and stay for your exhale. Go ahead and bring the leg back up to center, bend your knee, take the foot out of the strap. Good. And then hug your knees on into your chest. Take a breath in here. Lower the soles of your feet down to the mat and rise back up onto your forearms. Window wiper your knees again, back to kind of where we started. And then this time, come back through center, sit all the way tall. I'm going to scoot back, but lengthen your legs out in front of you for a seated forward fold. Remove any flesh out from underneath of the sits bones. Flex your feet, soften your knees. And on a breath in, stretch your arms to the sky. Use your breath out to hinge at your hip creases, belly to thighs, and forward folding here, Paschimottanasana. Let your hands just kind of relax by your sides. Bring your forearms to the earth. Good. Take an inhale. And then exhale, point your toes and get a nice big stretch through the tops of the feet, like a ballerina. My mat's so sticky, I have to lift my feet up. And then take your feet, flex them back again. Drop your chin to your chest. And then one more time, point your toes. Getting that nice stretch to the front of the shin and the top of the foot. And then go ahead and come back up to a nice tall seat. Good. Staying here, or option 2, bend into your left knee and fold it back behind you. If you have any knee issues going on, elevating yourself on a block or somewhere, a pillow somewhere where it can lift you off of the floor here is going to bring less pressure into the knees. And then you may want to block on your way down or an extra blanket. On your way down, options here is to stay right here, or come on down to your forearms. See how that feels. If you'd like a little extra, you can come all the way down onto your backs. And before I come all the way down, a way to modify this would be, instead of bending the knee out around to the back here, bring it forward and just open it up like a tree leg. And you can do the same things, coming onto forearms and then all the way down onto the back. So, reclining hero or reclining Janu legs, kind of up to you. And only go to your degree. You don't want to go to where you're feeling any pain or sensation there. You can also reach your arms overhead and grab a hold of opposite elbows. This is reclining hero's pose, or half reclining hero's pose. And as you're ready, we come back up the same way we got in. So, bring yourself up onto forearms, replace your elbows with your hands, bring your left leg around and kind of shake out the legs a little bit. And again, either Janu legs, where we find a tree leg and we head on back, or half heroes, sliding the heel behind us, Bending into the knee, you could stay here if this is enough sensation for you. You could come down onto forearms and maybe this is enough, or all the way down onto your back body. Option then to reach the arm overhead. This gives us not only a nice quad stretch, hip flexor opening in the right, but when we draw our knee back, we're kind of stopping the blood flow in the knee joint. When we come back up to a seat, we get a lot of new, fresh, oxygenated blood to the joint. Wonderful, especially if we sit a lot during our day. Come back up onto your forearms, bringing your hands down. Lift, come onto the palms, and then gently lean to your left side. Bring that right leg out in front. Give them a little shake here. Good. And then go ahead and scoot forward to the top of your mat. Grab behind your knees and lower on down. As you come down, hug your knees into your chest and find happy baby pose, bringing the knees wide. Reach up to grab for ankles, feet, or toes. And then choose to find movement or stillness. And hug the knees into the chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. Bring your nose into your knees. And then keep a hold of your knees. Let your head relax down on top of the mat. Feel the compression in the front of the hips. Lengthen your arms and legs out nice and long. Final resting pose, Shavasana. So for the next several minutes, allow your body to completely rest, to completely relax here. Any props that you want to bring underneath to find a little bit more support, go ahead and bring those. Let your upper body relax. Snuggle in those shoulders to find a shelf for your heart. Let your toes fan out. Let your palms face open. Breath in through the nose. Breath out through the mouth. Let it go. Deep peace to all of you. know that you are always welcome to stay in this space for as long as you need. In fact, I always encourage a few extra moments if you have the time. If you're ready to reawaken, begin to deepen your breath first. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll your wrists, your ankles. That move in ways that help you to reawaken. Stretch, curl. And eventually roll to your right side. Pause in the fetal position. Take a moment to acknowledge the space that you created today in this sacred movement. It helps us to clear the mind, stay present with the body. As little effort as possible, work your way back up into an easy seat. Bring your hands together at your heart. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through the nose. As you exhale, bow your head towards your prayer hands. Take a moment here to just find the space that you created today, any new awareness or knowledge that you can pull from your practice. Coming back to those intentions that we set 45 minutes ago. And whether you came back to the intention, whether you paid attention to it or linked it in throughout your practice, doesn't really matter. What's important is that we were here today, we showed up, we were present, we took the movement and the breath and made it one. Take some of this lightness and energy out with you, spread it with others. Thank you so much for sharing your energy and light and presence with me today. Remind yourself to come back to routines, come back to things that make you feel good, and know that those negative emotions that come up are there to help you learn and to help you grow, to further yourselves. On an inhale, fill up all the way to the top. On an exhale, open the mouth, let it go. May peace, may love, may light be felt within each and every one of you. Bless you and everyone you meet. Namaste. Thank you so much, yogis, for sharing your practice with me. Hopefully feeling a little bit more open from head to toe. If you have any questions, please, comments in the feedback section are always welcome. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I hope to see you all very soon. Namaste.